idea of communion, I guess, has been transformed quite a bit over the last 12 months for me as I've been growing my faith. And when I think about what communion was like before, when I lived in Brisbane, I used to go up the front to the altar in my church, and it was quite a solemn event, and I'd kind of walk back to my seat with a frown on my face, looking suitably serious. And while I still know that it is an incredibly serious thing in some ways, the sacrifice that Jesus made, something that has been revealed to me in the past 12 months or so is God's grace and how much of a gift it is. So I'd like to read something from Ephesians. So this is from Ephesians chapter 2, verses 4 and 5, and then it goes down a little bit further. But because of his great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, made us alive with Christ even when we were dead in transgressions. It is by grace you've been saved. And then later in verse 8, for it is by grace you've been saved through faith, and this not from yourselves, it is a gift, it is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. That idea that it's a gift, that he has died on the cross, there's nothing that we can do to thank him, even the works that we do. And for me, that's just been a huge transformation in my understanding of God's love for me.
Yeah, for me growing up, communion was always like the thing that you had to do. You know, it was part of the mass. You just did it, and then you knew you were sweet for the rest of the week if you'd done it. But I don't know. As I progressed through my faith, I started to really turn against the idea of having to do it. And going off what Liz just read, like, you know, I talked to my pastor, and the idea of like having to do something for your salvation really, it just wasn't sitting right. And then the more I looked into it, the more I realized that it's not about, you don't get salvation by doing these things. You do them because God, like Jesus kind of asks you to, as a way to remember him. So yeah, I think to do them to remember him is more a journey you do by yourself as a way to not gain salvation through that. So I'm just going to read from Matthew. While they were eating, Jesus took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take and eat, this is my body." Then he took a cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them, saying, "Drink from it, all of you. This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. I tell you, I will not drink from this fruit of the vine from now until the day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." So I think, he's basically just making a symbolic gesture that he's going to spill his blood, break his body for us to save us. And we shouldn't kind of sit there and think that by doing this, we're gaining salvation. He's already done that. But what we're doing while we do it is just remembering what he's actually done.
So we can share this bread and this wine together now. If you've got something with you, can just take some time to process those thoughts and give thanks to our Lord for what he's done for us.